Hey guys, what's up? It's Caitlin. Welcome back to another video. If you're new, hi, this is another video. So for those of you who don't know, I have recently just completed a mini pupillage with a chambers, which is very much something you need to do if you want to become a barrister. They recommend doing 3 if you can. I started quite late in my 3rd year to be doing these, but a lot of people, you usually can't do them in your 1st year. So 2nd year and like 2nd year summertime is definitely the time to be getting it. It's just work experience basically. You don't get paid. Some of them are assessed, mine was not. And you basically shadow a barrister, and so you get a feel of what the life is like, you get a feel of what the job is like, what the hours are like. It is very, very insightful. I spent all of my mini pupillage in court, and I spent only 1 day was I in a magistrate's court. The rest of the time I was in the county court. I was gonna say Crown Court, I was not in the Crown Court. And different chambers specialise in different laws, obviously. A lot of them do cover a lot of laws, a lot of sectors. But the one I went to specialised in family law, so I got an insight into what family law was like, into how you would deal with clients, how you deal with other lawyers, how you deal with judges, what the court system's like. It's very, very insightful, and I definitely recommend you doing a mini pupillage. I don't even recommend, you have to do a mini pupillage or you are not going to get into the bar course. It's as simple as that, because everyone's going to have the grades, everyone's going to have done a law degree who's going to the bar course. It's not that special. You need to get specialised work experience. Mini pupillages are the way to do that if you want to become a barrister. Obviously, if you want to become a solicitor, you have training contracts, you have vacation schemes, sorry, not training contract, training contracts is what happens after your LPC. So yeah, get work experience. And if you are wanting to become a solicitor, get that vacation scheme, get some work experience, get some paralegal work experience, just anything legal, get some work experience. That goes for barristers as well. It doesn't have to be a mini pupillage. They're just very sought after because they're very difficult to get into. Now, mine was in a chambers in Northampton, so I shadowed barristers. I was with different barristers each day, which was nice. I got to know a lot of them. They're all very, very talented people, and I definitely recommend you hiring them if you need them. I'm not going to tell you which chambers it was with for confidentiality reasons, but it was very insightful. It was a bit dull, and let me explain why. As a mini pupil, you are not legally qualified or legally trained to be able to give advice, to write documents. Basically, you're not allowed to do anything. You sign a confidentiality agreement and that's about that. I got to read documents, got to read the case files, got to see how bundles are made, legal bundles. Those are a huge thing as a barrister. You got to see witness statements, you got to speak to witnesses. I went on a very unfortunate week in that everyone was very civil, everyone sorted things out behind closed doors, as it were, and their applications for documents just for the court to sign. It's basically what I was seeing. I didn't see any cross-examination or any exciting things like that. I didn't see anyone on the witness stand, which was disappointing for me, but good for the cases because it's never good when that happens. Everyone dealt with it very civilly, which is great. But you could be lucky enough to go on a mini pupillage and they do a lot of cross-examination and stuff like that, and that's the interesting nitty-gritty, this is what being a lawyer is about situation. And the good thing is you get to discuss with your barrister what the bar's like, where they went to the bar, what the job's actually like, the worst thing about being a lawyer, the best thing about being a lawyer, how they deal with certain things. Just ask all the questions. They're there to help you, or they wouldn't have said yes to a mini pupil. And obviously learn when to not speak and when to speak when it comes to being in court. You sit at the back, you can't sit with your lawyer, you can't sit with the witnesses, you sit right at the back as an observer. Same with pupils, which is the stage you go on to after you've studied the bar. So you're all at the back, you're observing. Usually the pupil is tip-tapping away on their laptop, you just have to sit there and take notes if needs be, but there's really not usually anything to take notes about in court. Outside of court there is, but in court not so much. And yeah, the hours of a barrister are very sporadic. Like, making plans seems very, very not doable with the way that their lifestyle works. But I mean, everyone I spoke to was married, had kids, had lives, had hobbies, so you're not completely and utterly, you know, cut off from everyone. But one of them did say that, yeah, your social life definitely goes down the drain in the first few years, even still, because you could just get put on an emergent case and then you're there at court for another 2-3 hours. So if you had dinner plans at 5, no. Although judges do tend to want to go home before 5, so usually you won't get any cases in the county court. This is usually you won't get any cases after that. So, but you've still got to work on your cases. You've still got to, once you've left court, you still have to go home and work on other cases. Why won't my camera focus? You still have to, basically you work from home and you work in court, but you do live in court basically. And you have to obviously what you learn in your bar, drafting, opinion pieces, sorting out bundles, sorting out files, all that sort of stuff you do usually at home. So obviously you don't follow your barrister home. But really a mini pupilage is, you sit there and observe whilst your barrister does their jobs, and you ask questions when and where you can. And it is, as I said, very informative. You don't get paid. Some of them are assessed. Usually the bigger chambers in London's the ones that assess you. And some of them will pay for travel. Not a lot, like very, 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 very few pay for your travel. So it is spending money to get to places. It is a lot of time. Some of them are 3 days, which I definitely recommend going for a 3-day one, not a 5-day one. Because as I said, you are really just sat there for all hours of the day, not really doing much. So try and get a 3-day one if you can. A lot of them do understand because even if it's a 5-day one, you can ask for a 3-day one, which I didn't know, because they understand that students have other commitments. They understand that law students have things to study for, have essays to write, dissertations to write, especially if you're in your 3rd year. So yeah, definitely try and get a 3-day one if you can, but they're usually 3 to 5 days. They won't go longer than that. They usually don't go shorter than that, so you can kind of get a feel for all the different cases you could possibly see. A lot of my cases were the same. Bigger chambers will change you around barristers in different sectors. For example, mine specialised in family law, literally only did family law, so I was just doing family law. Whereas some of the bigger chambers in London, you'll do criminal law one day, then you'll do family law, and then maybe you'll get a fraud case. Not a lot of them do that, but obviously the bigger chambers are able to do that because they've got more lawyers, more resources. So yeah, I definitely recommend trying a London firm, just because you can get a feel for, not a firm, a chambers, you can get a feel for the bigger atmosphere. One of the things I did learn about being a lawyer that I didn't even think about, which I should have, is that if you're a London lawyer, you have to travel all around the country. Like literally, you could be in Manchester one day, be in Northampton the next, then you could be back in London, then you could be up near York. It is a lot of travelling. You can claim it back on your expenses, but that's a whole different tax for later. I'm not going to go into taxes with you guys and stuff like that, but it is claimable, but you've still got to pay it. You've still got to do the time of the travelling. Northampton lawyers you have certain jurisdictions for different chambers if you're not in London. So Northampton have Coventry, London. There are other ones that Warwick, I really can't remember the other ones, but there are certain jurisdictions, and I know a lot of my lawyers were going to London after the day they taught me, or then they were going to Coventry. It's a lot. You meet a lot of different lawyers, but yes, that was something I learnt. Obviously there's a lot more to learn on different pupilages, mini pupilages, which is why they say try and do 3, because you can get a feel for different areas, and definitely do different areas. Don't just go like 3 criminal ones or 3 family law ones. Branch out, because for all you know, you could find your future part of law that you didn't even think about, because it is very different in practice as to what it is that you learn, which is quite obvious, but it is very jarring when you actually realise, like, oh, right, okay, so that's how you figure that out, rather than doing it this way. And you don't have to cite a gazillion cases. That is one of the good things. That's been me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below. It would be greatly appreciated. Hit the big red subscribe button if you're not subscribed to my channel already. I do legal videos, I do university videos, I do cosplay videos. Comment down below any other videos you want to see me do. Also comment down below if you've done a mini pupillage and what you thought of it. All my social media will be linked down below. Hit the bell so you can be notified of when I do upload. It's usually Monday and Friday, could change. And I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye bye.
Just like the street lights lit this town like a fire.